celebrated, this is past tense, celebrated when the Philippines was an American colony in the first half of the 20th century. And it was celebrated on the same day. And during the whole Japanese occupation during World War II, both the Americans and the Filipinos celebrated Thanksgiving in secret. In secret, they would celebrate and come together for this feast, and friends and family. And then after the Japanese withdrawal in 1945, the tradition did continue. While it was revived by the Filipino president, Ferdinand Marcos, it was discontinued after Marcos was ousted. So the Philippines do not currently celebrate a Thanksgiving, but there was a time that they did when there was warring and, it was done in secret. And that whole concept was taken over, but it has now been discontinued. And then you have the little Caribbean island, St. Lucia, and they celebrate a Thanksgiving on the first Monday in October. I couldn't find a lot about the history of it, but they do have a day called Thanksgiving. And so all across the country, there are so many different and similar reasons for Thanksgiving. Because remember, Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving thanks. Thanksgiving is giving thanks. And giving thanks spans across whatever culture, whatever religion, whatever people, whatever ethnicity. You can always give thanks for something. And so you'll find Thanksgiving pop up across the world in different ways, by different names, but by the different concept or by the same concept. And you'll find it going on across the country. Across the world. Definitely across the world. So while there is diversity, there's lots of diversity. There's also that history that does entail a very dark history of Thanksgiving and how it started. And I think we need to be I am very mindful of that. Very, very mindful of that. Though, as I said, I'm conflicted because while the history has a dark history, how Thanksgiving came about, it's not that pretty picture of, oh, here's a plate of food, how great and wonderful. It is spattered with a lot of some darkness. But we are here now, and this is what Thanksgiving is about. The 4 F's, the family, food, fun, and feasting, that we have here today. But in addition to that, I did find a very, 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 very sweet song. And so there's one part of Thanksgiving which is for your love, for lovers, for people who are, in love afar or close. You give thanks for that love, for that person who is your yin, is the yin to your yang. They make your heart flutter. And so there is a certain level of thanks that needs to go out to the person that you love. So yes, there's family and there's food, we are blessed to have a plate of food to eat, to nourish our bodies. And so this one is, we are blessed to have someone to love, to nourish our hearts. And so the next song that I'm going to play for you all is a very, very special song. It's another one of those songs that, my parents are really, really big into country music. So that's why I know some country music and things that go on. But the next song is going to be A Thanksgiving Prayer by Johnny Cash. And I just have to say, for Johnny Cash, he wasn't even like the straight-laced type of country singer. Johnny Cash has some stuff with him. Like Johnny Cash went to prisons and sang because he acknowledged, even if you're in prison, you still deserve some love. You deserve that freedom of people seeing you as a person, as a human. Not as like a throwaway. You are in prison because you're paying your debt to society. A society that certainly should be paid because you did something that incurred this debt. And so now you are paying that debt back. But the next song that I want to play for the Soul Circle is A Thanksgiving Prayer, Johnny Cash, and it's about love. And just, when you find that love and you have that love, being very thankful that you have that person to love. So here we go.
We've come to the time in the season when family and friends gather near to offer a prayer of thanksgiving for blessings we've known through the years, to join hands and thank the Creator now when Thanksgiving is due. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. This year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. I'm grateful for the laughter of children, the sun and the wind and the rain, the color of blue in your sweet eyes, the sight of a highballing train, the moonrise over a prairie, and oh love that you've made new. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. And this year when I count my blessings, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. And when the time comes to be going, it won't be in sorrow and tears. I'll kiss you goodbye and I'll go on the way, grateful for all of the years. I thank for all that you gave me, for teaching me what love can do. And Thanksgiving Day for the rest of my life, I'm thanking the Lord He made you. And Thanksgiving Day for the rest of my life, I'm thanking the Lord He made you.
So that was Johnny Cash at Thanksgiving Prayer, which I hope that everyone, you are thankful for the love that you have, be it your lover, your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, just somebody who can, makes your heart flutter. And you might not see that person all the time, but you still have to be thankful that that person can make you feel warm when, and make you feel that type of love. I would be remiss. So, my love affair, my hate affair with Thanksgiving. I'm very conflicted. Just thinking about that dark history. But I would be remiss to not mention that, as I have mentioned before, my family is from an island, Trinidad and Tobago. And so with that, that's another one of those holidays, with them being immigrants. My mother and father didn't know about Thanksgiving in that way. But when they came over here and they're fighting for citizenship and they're going, they're trying to blend in with what's going on, and it's this immigrant struggle. They do start doing Thanksgiving with all the other Trinidad immigrants from the island of Trinidad. And so we do have Thanksgiving. We had a turkey, but we also have like Caribbean dishes as well. So Thanksgiving has always been that diversity. It wasn't always just the same old menu. The turkey with the macaroni and cheese, with the greens, with stuffing and cranberry sauce. It certainly did expand much further than that, and I'm very appreciative of that experience. and being able to know, you can have Thanksgiving. What it really involves is just being around love, family, friends, laughing, dancing, and just having a really, really, really good time. So I just had to throw that in there, that it's really through reading and just knowing and hearing and listening and conversations like we have Soul Circle about Thanksgiving that just has broadened my idea of what Thanksgiving is, and what it should be, what it can be. But it also does lay heavy on my heart as to what the U.S. concept of Thanksgiving is, and how we definitely need to, just kind of flush it out and try to make it sit as easily with each of us, depending on whatever our experiences are. So, again, as usual, thank y'all for stopping by after such a long, hard day. I'm very, very, very thankful for you stopping by, and just sitting down and relaxing with us and talking about this Thanksgiving with me. The family affair that's a love-hate Thanksgiving. That I'm glad that you found the time to click on to www.lifeenhancementradio.com. Again, please feel free to text, to email, all of the hosts, especially me. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. Maybe if you don't feel the same way I do in terms of the dark history and what that should mean, let me know. Not that I would then change what I believe, but it's a great discussion. It's great knowing that there are people out here and we don't all dance to the same drummer. We don't all dance to the same beat of the same drummer. Like we are different, but in our differences, we can still appreciate one another. That's what I love about the whole diversity of the different countries, the Netherlands, Grenada, Liberia. They all have Thanksgiving, but it's not directly related here to the U.S. and their concept of Thanksgiving. But that opens your eyes, and it opens my mind. It really does open my mind and just expands it in a way that I certainly do appreciate knowing that. So don't forget, every day of the week, you can click on to Life Enhancement Radio, and you can click on to a host. So there's me on Mondays at 7 with That's My Song, which we just had and we just discussed. And then there's Tuesdays with LaTonya Smiley, which is Pillow Talk. You should definitely tune in every day of the week. And then there's Wednesday. You have 2 shows that Life Enhancement Radio gives you on Wednesday. And then Thursday, True to the T. And then Friday, they're the Life Enhancement Radio Founders with Kendall and Leroy, which is very interesting to enhance your life. And then Saturdays, you have 2 shows. You have A Better You and Sister Girl Sessions as well. So please click on anytime, whenever you have a moment, yourself, your friends, and you'll see how you can enhance your life with different discussions, be it spirituality, be it just about life. But it all goes into making you a better you, which is what we all strive for every day. So I hope to meet you here next Monday at 7 o'clock. And so the show next Sunday, it's a family affair, but it's the aftermath. So while we had the love affair, which is the love and hate relationship, the next one is going to be the aftermath of that family affair that's going on with Thanksgiving, because there's always an after. There's always an after that we need to be very cognizant of as well. So please join me next Monday for the second half to It's a Family Affair with Thanksgiving. And when I say, there's a lot more, there was tension during Thanksgiving, and that was due to, Kiki used to be married to Joe, and so the kids now